Alright YouTube, hey, what's up? You guys just seen the intro with me and Nitro J talking about the Rubik's Cube. And here we are another day. We're getting ready to start prepping this guy out. We're going to remove off all the trim work that we can. Then we're going to use some 600 grit smoothing sandpaper. You guys seen in my last video, I like to use that stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and just mask off the stuff that we're keeping blue. I'm just gonna lightly scuff this thing down, kind of knock the shine down a little bit, and throw some adhesion promoter and some primer. And then we're gonna start this wonderful project we're about to do, Rubik's Cube 2.0, recreating the masterpiece. So we got the rear bumper, the hood, the tailgate off. We'll start working on taking off the rest of these little guys. And the reason, instead of, you know, just masking these off, or yeah, just masking them off basically, compared to taking them off, is we really want to give this thing a true paint job. So instead of just masking stuff off and then worrying about hopefully you didn't overspray it, just gonna take it all off. You'll see photos in the video, and the reason why I take so many photos when I do these is because I can use my photos and look back almost like a blueprint on how I took this stuff off. I look back at the photos to, you know, help myself on the reassemble. So stay tuned and we'll get you back on the next clip. Pictures I showed you of this front grille, just so you don't snap it. It's kind of a tricky little deal to get out, and it comes out the same way. So when you reinstall it, lock those tabs right there over those little nubs where the screw hole is, and just push it back in like pretty much like that there. Okay, now the grill's off and the bumpers are off, we're going to go ahead and move the interior. Start off with those two screws back there. And these two screws that are attached to those tabs to remove the interior. Hood latches, or whatever they are, the hood arms, the spring arms, they're just kind of flopping around, and they're gonna kind of rub on the paint after I paint it, so I'm just gonna remove them, stick them to the bottom of the hood with some tape so I don't lose them. Here we are, pretty much disassembled. I'm having the hardest time though, without breaking anything, popping these out. They're on a little fragile up there on the, what is that called? The hood dam or whatever that's called, but can't seem to push those through. And I don't want to break it, so I'm gonna have to tape them. And we're gonna have to see if we can, I don't know, kind of between a rock and a hard place here. And all these little badges are like flat little pieces of metal like glued on to the body, so that's gonna be a tricky area there. Maybe we'll make that somewhat, I don't know, we'll see how it comes out. Windows out of the back of the Blazer, the top, the removable top. We'll take the glass out, pop those little pieces out, get this thing ready to paint. That's pretty much it. Next step will be to kind of wet sand this thing. I think that's what we're gonna do because, you know, we're gonna add another layer of paint, so we'll see if we can kind of knock down that shine, wet sand this up, and get it ready. The areas that are blue on Nitro J's truck already, we're just gonna mask, I believe it's the roof and the two rear quarters are gonna stay blue, except for a white piece in the middle. So, a lot of masking and unmasking and waiting on paint. I told Chris, I hope you're not in a hurry for this one. Rubik's Cube's gonna take a while to complete. But I'll bring you guys for the ride and stay tuned. And here we got the rig, dunk it in the water, wet my little sanding paper down, and you know, just trying to demonstrate this for you guys real quick. Just kind of wet sanded down. You can see where the paint was already kind of loose. This is only 60 grit, 600 grit. It's fairly light, you know, and so see the imperfections that were already there. We're not going to do the back. You can see the difference where it's drying. Just scuffing it down a little bit. All right, we're back after wet sanding. You can see the difference from where I did and didn't do it. Let's see with the light on. A few little areas I need to go hit again. Get a little closer in there. Big spot right there I gotta get. A little bit right there in the front. But you get the gist of it. So we knocked it down, you know, get a little bit more in right there. But basically, you know, we're kind of giving it something to stick to, scuffing that down. Then with some adhesion promoter and some primer and all those other colors. So far so good though.